Hark, it's an 87th Precinct podcast bonus episode. This is the bonus episode to go with our look at book number 49 in the series, which was The Big Bad City, a tale of nuns and cookies and revenge and some dreadful music industry related storytelling. But we've got to do our usual thing of having a look at the various covers, and I'll be honest with you, everyone, it's not like there's going to be much variety in what we've got to look at here. Let me just check my little thing here. So I don't even need to share the different things because we've all got slightly different editions in our hands. So, Steve-O, who's your publisher and when's your edition from?
It is the UK Hodder and Stoughton, is that right? New English Library.
So you've got the New English Library edition, which is the paperback UK.
$19.99, yeah. Priced at $5.99.
Now, Morgan, what's your edition?
Mine is the UK Hodder and Stoughton big paperback.
Big paper? I don't think we've had a big paperback
That's the
before,
technical term, I believe. This is the one that's priced $9.99.
So yours is a paperback, but it's officially Hodder and Stoughton rather than New English Library.
Indeed, yeah.
Or Steve-O's is the New English Library from Hodder and Stoughton.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have a hardback copy of it, which is a first American edition hardback, Simon & Schuster. In fact, I think my brother bought me this as a present. And, well, we'll describe the cover in a second. Safe to say that all of these, despite some sort of tonal changes and a little bit of shifting on the text, are exactly the same, aren't they, really?
It says what it is, which obviously a fictional bridge. Calms Point Bridge by Mark Sink. Cool. A great name.
Yes. Jacket photograph of Calms Point Bridge by Mark Sink / Graphistock.
Yeah.
Which,
well, mine doesn't say photograph, but...
So the cover design is basically a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
And it's just nicely tied into the 87th Precinct by having the words Calms Point Bridge on there as a little sort of in-joke for the reader as well.
Is that the same portrait?
Well, on the back of the two paperback editions here, we have a small picture of Mr. McBain, Mr. Hunter, and I have a huge picture of him.
Yeah, it's the same.
So it's a photo taken by Dragishka of a greying, well, how old was he at this point? 99, 73-year-old man. Yeah, he looks quite wistful there, doesn't he?
He does.
You know, not that he's ever beaming his head off in any of the photographs, but yeah. So the fact is that there's no particular variety across the different editions in the UK and the American editions, at least, anyway, other than change in font on the covers to make it stand out and slightly, the wraparound sleeve on my first American edition is a sort of gold and shiny version, where it's sort of embossed rather than a more yellow gold that's on the paperbacks.
Yours is a bit bronzier.
Bronze, yes, there you go.
Bronze.
That's the word.
Well, it's better than some of the covers we've had in recent years, that's for sure.
It is, but...
If not particularly exciting.
Yeah, by the same token, again, like we say about the title not being particularly relevant, it's like, well, this does feel like...
Generic title, generic picture.
It's kind of like one they've had in reserve for an Ed McBain book that they've just pulled off the shelf.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Well, I think the clue says, it says photograph of Calms Point Bridge by Mark Sink / Graphistock, which suggests that they've bought it from a catalogue of photos of New York, type thing. Yeah. Which is a shame. Oh, well. Do you want to give it a huff, Steve-O? Go on.
Yeah, go on
give
then,
Give us a smell of yours.
Very odourless, this.
No.
More smells of
by their very nature,
airport lounges.
Oh, very specific. By their very nature, these are newer books every time we
look at
one now, aren't they? What about yours, Morgan? Yours are so big.
Musky.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a just
an airport in there. Do you think?
Maybe a hint of airport.
Yeah, a hint of airport.
Just a smidge of airport.
Yeah, or bus terminal maybe.
Bus terminal. Oh, I'll check mine out.
Taxi rank. No.
Oh, mine's quite musty actually.
Ooh.
For a hard one. That's that's a classic book smell. That I don't want to pin it down to a location because the location might well be old people's home, unfortunately.
I'm currently reading a book that I acquired from the cricket club, and I won't be able to huff that because even just reading it at this distance feels like I'm smoking about 40 a day.
Oh, blimey, yes. Yes, what a sensory experience. However, even if the English language versions aren't particularly inspiring, there were a couple of more interesting ones. So I will show first the Il Giallo Mondadori Italian edition.
Tremendous.
Around.
That's what you
that's
want,
more
isn't it?
like it.
That's what I signed up for.
Yeah, so do you want to describe that, Morgan?
So what's the literal translation of that title?
The big violent city, I guess. Grande. I'm not going to.
Grande.
Città Violenta.
Yes.
I guess.
It sounds... Yeah.
Big.
Yeah. So we've got a park bench in a foggy park. It looks like a right pea super. And we've got a young lady, presumably our nun that we discussed, lying, looking somewhat worse for wear, i.e. dead, by the... i.e. dead by said bench. Yeah, it's all in a very, very kind of classic pulp kind of art style. And it's a lot more interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I like those Giallo.
They're
those
great.
Giallo designs. They really do stick to that classic look. And there's a couple of Japanese editions. So the Japanese hardback edition, I'm just showing that around here.
Ooh.
Okay.
It does have the Big Bad City written on it in English as well as the Japanese writing, but it is just a stained glass window. So the religious aspect is there.
More like a CAD file.
It does look like it could be a
novel.
CAD film. Or like a copy of that terrible Inspector Morse I watched last night, which was all set in the church.
Yeah, it's a poor one, that, isn't it?
But the Hayakawa Pocket Mystery book, the paperback Japanese edition, I'm going to pass to Steve. Well, I'll show it round first.
Oh, cool.
We like these ones. That's the
very
describe this
good one.
Japanese one. This paperback.
It looks like a sock, a blue sock with stripes on it. Yellow, red, green, black, yellow, yellow. On like a turquoise kind of carpet. And it says 87 on it. Or it could be, they're almost like a chain of islands on a map. Oh.
Archipelago.
Yeah. I'm trying to work out what the literal...
Florida?
Yeah, yeah. Islands, Everglades, maybe mountains up there, I don't know. It's always quite difficult to get the literalness of it, but it kind of doesn't really matter.
They're only very loosely representational, aren't they?
Yeah,
I guess.
No, it's very visually impressive. I like that.
Yeah, I think they should republish
Big Bad Sock.
all with Big Bad Sock. Yeah. Well, I'll share that, and people can put their own interpretation on it. But I have a feeling it might be to do with the reference to Florida.
Yeah, it could well be right.
But I like it. It's good. I like those Japanese ones. They're the ones that have been winning for me so far.
You
in
know what?
recent years.
Definitely.
Right.
Right then, let's get into some 1999 chat. So this book came out on the 14th of January 1999, and so that is where I've looked at the top 10 charts, music-wise.
Crikey.
But I'll give you two bits of music, sort of, I was going to say news. It's not news, is it? It happened in 1999. Music history, in fact. That's what I'm looking for. 10th of February, what happens with Iron Maiden in 1999?
Oh, Bruce Dickinson rejoins.
Yeah, and Adrian Smith as well.
Adrian Smith, yeah.
So Iron Maiden become the super power force that they've sort of been.
Three lead guitarists from that point on. Yeah. They've not changed their lineup since then, so quite a long time now.
Yeah, absolutely.
New album out as well, isn't there? It's all coming out soon, I think.
Yes.
Well, I hear they've been working on one, yeah.
And in July of 1999, Woodstock 99 takes place.
I bet you that was great.
Yes, I think it was beset with problems.
I didn't even know that happened, so that's how legendary it has been. Who performed? Some of the old...
No, I think there was like a handful of people. I think like John Entwistle did a solo thing, and he was like one of very few representatives who had been at the original Woodstock.
Yeah, I mean, Woodstock 94 was bad enough, I think, wasn't it? Because I'm sure they did 94 and they did 99 as well.
Yeah.
20...
It's
5 years.
But it was done as a sort of commercial enterprise, and that was the point behind it, rather than it being sort of celebratory, or they could have found all sorts of way of doing it.
Just lots of extremely drunk and drugged frat boys causing havoc, wasn't it? Mainly, I
believe
think.
so. Yeah, it was lots of reports of sexual assaults and the like, which is
people setting things on fire, and
yes,
not much in the way of peace and love.
No, indeed. But so there was just two music news history things from the period. But let's have a look at the UK charts. So as usual, speak up if you've heard of any of these. And I will go from 10 till 1 in the UK, 14th of January 1999.
Is this singles chart?
Singles chart. Would you have a quick guess of what you might come across in these
singles?
charts?
1999. We're I don't know. We're Westlife kind of around. Is it slightly too early for them? Maybe Robbie Williams.
Probably.
Millennium Prayer, was that still hanging around? Was that 1999?
That would have been
2000.
Following year, along with the Millennium by Will Smith.
I don't know. Take that. Would they have been in their kind of sabbatical
they would have been their
years?
sabbatical, yeah, absolutely. So you would.
Blue bands like Blue.
I don't know if Blue had quite turned up yet. I'm not sure.
Well, let's go through these charts and then we'll address some of these
We
issues.
spent most of our time drunk during 1999, so quite remember.
I think we'd have mainly listened to music on jukeboxes that we were just constantly putting money into in pubs.
True.
Right, number 10 in the UK was Up to the Wild Style by Pawn Kings versus DJ Supreme.
that was the next one I was going to mention.
Not a clue.
Nope.
Number 9 was End of the Line by Honeys.
I remember them existing. I can't remember what
Girl group type thing.
Yeah,
went through a lot of members. I seem to recall.
Yeah, very frequent in charity shop CDs, along with Top Loader and.
Number 8 was Rescue Me by Ultra. Nope.
No, I can't remember.
Number 7, now everyone will remember this, is Believe by Cher.
Oh, right. Oh, of course, yeah.
Which was a huge hit.
Bringing auto-tune to the masses.
Good old Cher. Number 6 was When You're Gone by Bryan Adams featuring Melanie C.
Oh, right, yeah. Up and down some stairs in the video, weren't they? In and out of rooms. Remember that?
Scampering around. Which was just below number 5, which was Goodbye by the Spice Girls.
Oh, right, yeah.
That was them bowing out for a little while anyway, wasn't it then, I think, that one?
For the next 20 years.
Well, was that them saying goodbye to Jerry Halliwell and then trying to carry on with another album afterwards?
That
which
might be
didn't
actually
do a tremendous amount.
No.
Possibly, I don't know.
They definitely did one album as a 4-piece, I think.
Yeah. But that was below number 4, which was Chocolate Salty Balls, P.S. I Love You by Chef from South Park.
Possibly not Isaac Hayes' finest musical moment, I'm going to say.
No, but a big hit for him.
A big hit for him, definitely,
Even if it wasn't him, it was Chef. Yeah, I did discuss this a little bit with my guest Gareth on the Head Ballet podcast when we were talking about Simpsons and other cartoon singles, so you can always look that up and find out a little bit more about it. Number 3 was You Should Be by Blockster.
Blockster?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Not a clue.
That sounds like a nickname for
I think it's got a Ministry of Sound logo in the corner. So. Number 2 was Heartbeat and Tragedy by Steps.
Classic.
Steps, aren't they? Like reforming and going back on tour.
Yeah, they've had new records out and things, yeah.
I have no idea whether Steps translated to anywhere except the UK, so anyone listening to this in America or Australia or anywhere is probably thinking, who the hell is Steps?
Generally did Bee Gees covers.
Yeah, there were a lot.
I'm sure they did more than one, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
Feels like they did. They probably didn't, actually. But.
Number 1, the new entry at number 1 this week was Praise You by Fatboy Slim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right,
which was around for a long time.
It was, yeah.
And you know what? It's probably a worthy number 1, really, given
enough.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm not going to moan about that.
Hilarious video as well.
Yeah, it's good. So in the US, let's see how different it is over there. At number 10, we have Trippin', Total featuring Missy Elliott. I don't know that one.
No, I don't
like
know
Missy
either.
Elliott.
Oh, yeah.
Number 9 was Do Wop That Thing by Lauryn Hill.
Oh, yeah. I remember it well.
8 was Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry.
Oh, yeah. Nana's brother, which makes Don Cherry, free jazz trumpeter's son,
Right.
and the uncle of current pop star Mabel.
Well, you heard it
There
here
we go.
first, or you knew it anyway.
That is the knowledge you get from
Yes.
every track, every album.
Yeah, the author of The Damned, every album, every song. He'll tell you all about
Every relation,
The next one he's doing is a
every-
Nana Cherry one, I
every
think.
relation, every name.
Now I've got a fair
R&B
amount-
Family Trees with Morgan Brown.
I've got some time for Nana Cherry. Eagle Eye, not so much.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number 7 is Lullaby by Sean Mullins. No. Number 6 is Because of You, 98 Degrees. Nope.
98 degrees.
No.
It doesn't say whether it's Celsius or Fahrenheit. Number 5 is Lately by Divine.
I assume not Divine for...
Not from the John Waters films, no. And number 4 is, you might have heard of this one, Baby One More Time by Britney Spears.
Oh, let me think.
Yeah. Amazing song, you know,
Yeah, it's
justly an absolute global smash.
Yeah, it's a beast, isn't it?
I mean, yes, retrospectively, the hitting aspect of it is difficult, but as a piece of pop of its time. Number 3, I'm Your Angel by R. Kelly and Celine Dion.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll move on from that. Number 2, Nobody's Supposed to Be Here by Deborah Cox.
Oh.
That's just a, don't know what that is, a song or a statement.
True or false?
Yeah. True or false, Deborah Cox. Number 1, Have You Ever by Brandy.
I wonder if that's one that you'd know when you heard it, maybe.
She needs to be a bit more specific, doesn't she?
Yeah. So it's interesting again. Yeah, there's some huge hits there, but I wonder how, it feels like it might be sort of 10% of the hits on either side of the Atlantic would translate to the other side and around the world, as it were.
Yeah, I think we definitely have have more sort of banging dance music, and the States definitely have more sort of R&B.
Yeah. But the biggest hit singles of that year were Baby One More Time, Mambo Number 5, of course,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There you go.
and No Scrubs,
Oh, amazing.
I Want It That Way, and as Steve-O hinted at, Blue Dabba Dee,
Oh, yeah.
which is
Eiffel
65. Oh no, you were talking about Blue the Band, weren't you?
Band,
was, yeah.
I was thinking about Blue Dabba Dee. It's a song that makes me feel physically sick.
It's creepy, weird, isn't it?
It's even weirder when you see the video, which is really bad CGI.
Yes, yeah.
Oh God, I remember the first time I heard Blue Dabba Dee, I was on a holiday to Prague. I was on a boat in Prague going down the Vltava and hearing this thing and just it knocking me sick.
Yeah.
It's such a weird sound.
There's something quite stomach churning about it, definitely, yeah.
Okay, right. Anyway, that's music, and we'll come to our own musical picks from the album-wise in a little bit. Films, top 10 global highest-ranking films of 1999. Any thoughts?
Well, there was a Bond film out. That's normally good for the top 10.
Yeah, which one would it have been?
Oh, they've all got stupid titles, haven't they, in these era? Tomorrow Never Dies, was it that one?
Die
Another Tomorrow.
Die
Tomorrow's the day for dying.
For having a
today.
die.
Die Another Day.
The World Is Not Enough.
The World Is Not Enough.
Right.
Yeah. Which became the 8th highest-ranking film of the year.
one that Garbage did the theme song for, was it? I think.
Oh, do you know what? I only watched
Die.
it a few weeks ago.
Is that the one with Vincent Price? No, Vincent Price. Jonathan Price.
I've been expecting you, Mr. Bond.
That would have been great.
I think that is the Jonathan Price one, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's pretty ludicrous.
Yeah, it's got a... Yeah, it is very...
All right. Well, anyway, from 10 up to 1 for the top. Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
sequel to Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. American Beauty. Number 8 is The World's Not Enough. Number 7 is Notting Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Number 6, The Mummy,
Oh, yeah.
which has since been remade to absolutely no success, I think. Tom Cruise, wasn't it, in a remake of it recently, when they were trying to launch a dark universe of, like, Universal monsters and just bombed.
Yeah.
So I think the old original Mummy is having a bit of a critical reappraisal, and people are going, do you know what, actually it was quite good and a lot of fun. Number 5 was Disney's Tarzan. Number 4 was The Matrix,
Oh, yeah.
which was obviously a massive smash.
I've seen that for such a long time.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
neither.
I've seen it once or twice, but I'm not massively keen on going back and watching it again.
No, I wasn't as into it as everyone else seemed to be at the time. I know that.
Looked a bit needlessly cool.
Confusing.
And very confusing, yeah. Toy Story 2 was at number 3. The Sixth Sense was above that. And at number 1, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, right. God, yeah, you kind of forget what years films like that were brought out.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace still best experienced as a Weird Al song.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I agree completely. Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a bit of a letdown, certainly.
Yeah, there's quite a few good films out that year that obviously weren't going to be top 10 hits as well, like things like Being John Malkovich.
Yes.
But I'm a Cheerleader, great film. Galaxy Quest, which I only watched for the first time this year, I think. K911, the third K9 film with Jim Belushi. It blew my mind to realise that there'd been more than one.
Yeah, I had no idea. Incredible.
Wild Wild West.
That was meant to be the start of a massive franchise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Steampunk Western franchise. Yeah, with Will Smith. What could possibly go wrong?
Eyes Wide Shut as well that year.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Magnolia was there?
That was out that year as well, I believe.
So in reviewing the films that came out, I saw Office Space. Now, I'm certain I've seen that, but I couldn't tell you much about it. But I remember it being really good.
It's really good, yeah.
Yes,
Mike
it is.
Judge, yeah.
Yeah, I like Office Space, although, again, I couldn't tell you anything about it because I've not watched it in donkey's years.
Yeah, that's
But
what I mean, like a long
remember
time.
loving
And
it.
as soon as this...
I only really remember the really smarmy boss character.
Yeah.
And also the guy who's actually been fired.
With the jam jar glasses, yeah.
Those are my two main memories of it, but
Yeah.
good stuff.
Okay, so that's a bit of the movies going on at the time, and we'll give you our movie picks in a minute. TV, I've not got masses of TV things, but there's a couple of quite important ones on here for us, or for me certainly. Well, in fact, I know it's for us. So some debuts on UK TV in 1999. So there's shows like Holby City Start, which was a spin-off from the long-running medical drama Casualty, which actually is going to end in 2022 apparently.
Yeah, I was
Holby
going to say it's been canned, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I've probably only watched about 3 episodes of that in my life.
Generally quite boring.
Yeah.
A
They
few
do
times
that.
I've seen it.
It's supposed to be sort of like the equivalent of police procedural, but in hospitals, and it's come off the back of ER being a big success, and so they've spun off from Casualty, which had been running for years, and everything just has to go ludicrously big and weird and or really boring, usually all at the same time.
Mainly, yeah.
Walking with Dinosaurs was a huge hit.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was like, they're doing CGI on TV, and it was.
Was that Attenborough?
I think did he narrate it?
I think he narrated it, yeah. That doesn't seem that long ago. Bloody hell.
Late Night Poker.
Oh, right.
yeah,
I used to
cracking.
watch
Yeah,
that.
I used to like that.
Get back from the pub and put the TV on one of the 4 channels you had available that you could tune in your house. And
They had tables with holes cut in and bits of perspex.
Yeah, the
and
camera under
cameras.
the table so you could see everyone's hand. Fantastic.
I've played poker with one of the guys off that. Devilfish, who's from Blackpool or somewhere.
oh wow, I didn't know that when I wrote that down here. And a couple of comedies we may have heard of. The League of Gentlemen,
Yeah.
Blimey.
1999, crikey.
but more importantly for me, and source of a lot of enjoyment and good memories, is Bang Bang, It's Reeves and Mortimer.
Oh, right,
Tremendous.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is one of my favourite series by Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer. 6 episodes of quite bizarre and bleak comedy. Not very bizarre and occasionally quite bleak comedy. But also features a sort of mini documentary within it called The Club.
So good.
Which I remember watching with you, Steve-O, and
my
seeing
Lord.
you laughing at the characters in that is one of my favourite memories of all time.
It is, yeah. Incredibly funny.
Yeah, it is. And a cartoon called Angel Mouse,
Oh, God, I'd forgotten
which
all
had
about
an
that.
absolutely brilliant theme tune. But the concept of this cartoon, and the reason it's stuck in my mind, because obviously we're way too old to be watching kids' TV stuff. But this is like a junior's sort of tots cartoon type thing. But it's about a mouse who is an angel, and every episode he has to do good deeds in order to keep his halo intact, because if he does bad things, which he's always tempted to, his halo shrinks till it almost vanishes.
Yeah.
It is a terrifying concept for a cartoon.
Mouse just frantically trying to avoid being damned for all eternity.
It was beautifully drawn and animated. This amazing theme
Angel
tune.
Mouse.
Yeah, like 60s theme tune. And it was voiced by David Jason, the voice of Danger Mouse.
Yes.
Very strange. Very strange. So I had to mention that.
Perhaps that's what he thought they said on the phone when they...
Oh, David, we're doing Angel Mouse. Oh, the
Danger Mouse is coming back again. Be halfway through the script for episode 5 and be like, well, where's Baron Greenback? He's nowhere to be seen. Must have defeated him at long last.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Well, over in America, I've only got a little list. Not Angel Mouse, but Angel, the Buffy follow-on. Which, we were massive Buffy fans, weren't we, Morgan? But I never got into Angel.
I think I've seen the first series. It was all right, but it's not the same.
Yeah. The Sopranos starts in 1999, driving TV reviewers into a frenzy, believing that that's the start of good TV of all time. I've never seen The Sopranos. I'm sure it's absolutely astonishing, but I don't really like mafia stuff.
Oh, it is very good, yeah. It's got a very peculiar blend of, horrificness and full-on comedy. Very curious blend.
We have 2 cartoon debuts. Family Guy starts, which, I found very funny for a little while and then really wore off after that.
Got very repetitive into
very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, that first when you saw that first series or 2, it was really good, and then the third series, it kind of dawned on you that it was never going anywhere.
It
really
gets like a sketch show that just relies on the same catchphrases over and over again, doesn't it? Really, it's
that they then had the characters reveling in.
But Futurama starts in 1999 as well, which I think does stand up better to, will stand the test of time a bit longer. Really.
Is Family Guy still going? It is, isn't it?
Oh, I should imagine so.
I think they're still churning it out, yeah.
Yeah, I think they had some... as with The Simpsons, there was a lot of discussion about white actors voicing black characters and so on. And I think that's changing, Family Guy and The Cleveland Show and all those spin-offs as well. But again, important memory-wise, particularly for me and you, Morgan, The Norm Show started in 1999. Now, Norm Macdonald is an interesting character. He can be very funny, he can be very strange and quite odd in his opinions and stuff. But The Norm Show, which is such a bizarre concept for a sitcom, disgraced ice hockey player.
That's right, yeah.
Does community service as a social worker.
As you do, yeah. That's obviously what would happen.
In a hilarious setup with Laurie Metcalf.
Yep.
And that was, again, I think, late night on Channel 4 or something.
Yeah, that's right. It was just really, it was bizarre, wasn't it? But it was very well written and acted and extremely funny, I seem to recall.
Yeah, I would like to see more of it.
Again.
And his wiener dog that he has in it. But, yeah, I quite like The Norm Show. I think Although the baffling idea that you could be forced to do social work as a community service when my parents, or my mum and my stepdad, are both, trained social workers who studied and done this job. It's and then it's a comedy based around the idea that you can just be forced to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, with no experience or training whatsoever.
Right. Anyway, so yes, it's clearly, a time where some significant things popping up for us. Yeah. So it's time to get round to our choices, and I'm going to you first, Steve.
Oh, right, crikey. I can't remember I can't remember what I chose for a film. I think I was slightly struggling for a film. Well, I found Election was out that year, which is very good with Matthew Broderick and yeah. So yeah, I think it might have been that. I don't think I saw anything else that tickled my fancy really. So which is a bit naff really, but. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. And for the album, what did I choose for the album? Oh, The Soft Bulletin by I've forgotten their name. The Flaming Lips.
Oh, right.
Which is a very good, well tapestried album. I was slightly tempted by Megadeth's Risk album as well, which was a major departure in and fairly universally panned. But I've always quite liked their attempt at I don't know what you would call it really, like slightly AOR-y kind of alternative. I mean, it is slightly peculiar, but maybe that should be my pick. I don't know. Yeah, we'll go with those two.
So Election and that Flaming Lips album.
Yeah.
On an album I haven't heard and a film I've never seen.
Well, there you go. Oh, the Soft Bulletin's most excellent, yeah.
I shall have to remedy both of those things. Okay, Morgan, go for it. What have you got from 1999?
Okay, well, film-wise, you actually already mentioned it when we were discussing the overview, but I've got to go for But I'm a Cheerleader.
I wondered if you would.
It's just magnificent. Natasha Lyonne and Clea Duvall, RuPaul. It's hilarious and kind of... works as good satire. It's got an absolutely tremendous soundtrack with indie pop and kind of pop punk stuff. Ghost Sailor and Dressy Bessie.
Oh, I bought the new Dressy Bessie album this weekend, tremendous. In fact.
Excellent. Yeah, just great sort of camp fun. It's the way it's shot as well. I think it's fast. The colour palette's brilliant. It's all very larger than life and tremendously enjoyable.
No, I can wholeheartedly give that 2 thumbs up.
Cool. And then music-wise, I was torn between a couple of things. I almost went for the debut album by Le Tigre, which is absolutely tremendous. But I think I'm actually going to go for, just because I've listened to it again recently and I just had forgotten how much I loved it, the unauthorized biography of Reinhold Messner by the Ben Folds Five.
That's an album that takes me straight back to our shared house, literally a few roads away from here.
Indeed.
And listening to it in your room and being introduced to Ben Folds 5 via that album by you.
Their third album, I think, probably the least commercially successful, but a really good one. Getting a little bit darker, a little bit more sort of orchestrated, but still with this sort of blend of kind of contemporary sort of indie rock and like sort of 70s easy listening almost, and kind of really like beautifully crafted, witty songs.
And some of the best bass guitar sounds on there as well.
Absolutely,
the bit in Army where they do it changes in the fuzz bass. Brilliant.
It's huge. Excellent stuff.
Oh, yeah, good picks there. Yeah,
cool.
Excellent stuff. Right, okay. I've got 2 films I could pick from. You see, it came out in 1999. Certainly it was in America, although it had been out earlier in Japan. And I think it came out in the UK the following year. But Pokemon, the first movie, did come out in 1999. Mm-hmm. And I do have a real soft spot for that because of the weirdness of approaching it as an adult and it being seen as phenomena. But I'm not going to pick that as my official one. But I am going to pick a Japanese animation. And I'm going to pick Studio Ghibli's Princess Mononoke.
Oh, tremendous.
Which I think got into the Western cinemas in 1999. I certainly didn't see it at the time. I've seen it quite a few times since. It is stunning work. Absolutely amazing animation, storytelling, and just that perfect weirdness that comes with the Studio Ghibli films, which sometimes is nice and domestic, but other times is more sort of epic and historical. It's just brilliant. Absolutely love it. And for my music choice, I attempt to read the whole title of this album? The title of the album I have chosen is When the Pawn Hits the Conflicts, He Thinks Like a King. What he knows throws the blows when he goes to the fight, and he'll win the whole thing. For he enters the ring, there's no body to batter when your mind is your might. So when you go solo, you hold your own hand and remember that depth is the greatest of heights, and if you know where you stand, then you know where to land, and if you fall, it won't matter because you'll know that you're right.
Fiona Apple?
That's the one. Yeah. Better known as When the Pawn, Pawn, that is, by the way, listeners, which was a record I very rarely ever come to a record because I've heard it on a radio, but I did hear the single from this on radio, and it struck me, or one of the singles from this on the radio, and it struck me, and I came to it via that, and then eventually discovered this album, which is such a brilliant blend of piano-led songwriting, but with production by John Bryan, which is very 60s-ish, which really appealed to me. So lots of Mellotron sounds and just really good. And I've just loved Fiona Apple ever since, really. Cool. And yeah, it holds the record for the longest album title ever, I think, still. So because it's just a poem she wrote, which is everyone should name their albums after poems they write when they're just annoyed by some critics. I think is where it came from anyway. So there's a selection for you all to dig into of what tickled our fancies from 1999. Anyway, it'd be interesting to see what the new millennium brings when we do our next episode. All future music.
Yeah, that's it.
Like Music 2000 from Look Around You.
I'm rapping.
Rapping. And
rapping all day and rapping all night.
Yes, some people get that reference and many people won't. Excellent. Well, there we go. That's our bonus episode. See you soon for book 50, which is The Last Dance. I'm going to say au revoir. And Steve-O's going to say...
Goodbye.
And Morgan's going to say...
Fairly well.
Tra.